Welcome, dear viewers, to another captivating episode of our series, Biblical Stories. Today we delve into the timeless tale of Adam and Eve, a narrative that takes us back to the dawn of time. Join us as we explore how God created man and woman, planting them in the splendid Garden of Eden. In this paradise, two significant trees hold the key to mankind's destiny, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve. Then the Lord God planted a garden in the region of Eden in the east, and he placed the man he had formed there. The Lord made all kinds of beautiful trees grow there and produce good fruit. In the middle of the garden, he placed the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided into 4 rivers. The first river is called the Pishon, and it winds through the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. The gold of that land is pure. Aromatic resin and onyx stone are also found there. The second river is called the Gihon, and it winds through the entire land of Cush. The third river is called the Tigris, and it flows east of Assyria. The fourth river is the Euphrates. Then the Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and guard it. The Lord God commanded the man, saying, "You may freely eat from every tree of the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for on the day that you eat from it, you will certainly die." Then the Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." After forming all the wild animals and birds from the ground, the Lord God brought them to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that became its name. The man gave names to all the livestock, to the birds of the sky, and to every wild animal. But still no helper was found that was suitable for him. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he slept, he took out one of the man's ribs and closed up the flesh at that place. Then the Lord God formed a woman from the rib that he had taken from the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united with his wife, and they become one flesh." The man and his wife were both naked and felt no shame. Now the serpent was more cunning than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. It said to the woman, "Did God really say, 'You must not eat from any tree in the garden'?" The woman replied to the serpent, "We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God has said, 'You must not eat it or touch it, or you will die.'" The serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that on the day you eat from it your eyes will be opened, and you will become like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable to make one wise, she took some of its fruit and ate it, and she also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." And God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The man replied, "The woman you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" The woman replied, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and every wild animal. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." To the woman he said, "I will greatly increase your pains in childbearing. With pain you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." And to Adam he said, "Because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it will yield for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return." The man called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all the living. The Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife and clothed them. Then the Lord God said, "Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. And now, lest he reach out his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever." Therefore the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. So he drove out the man and stationed cherubim on the east side of the Garden of Eden, along with a flaming sword that turned in every direction to guard the way to the tree of life. Lessons. 1. Divine purpose. As God formed Adam and placed him in the garden, it becomes evident that each of us has a purpose in this world. We are called to cultivate and protect the earth, just as Adam was given this responsibility. This lesson teaches us to value our role as stewards of God's creation. 2. Consequences of disobedience. God's one command to Adam was to refrain from eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge. Unfortunately, both Adam and Eve yielded to temptation and disobeyed. This decision carried grave consequences, emphasizing the importance of obedience to God's instructions. 3. The fall and its effects. Adam and Eve's disobedience resulted in the realization of their nakedness, prompting them to sew fig leaves as coverings. This pivotal event highlights the introduction of sin into the world and its consequences, demonstrating the need for redemption. 4. Accountability and responsibility. When confronted by God, both Adam and Eve attempted to shift blame for their actions. This reveals the human inclination to evade responsibility for our choices. The story challenges us to take ownership of our actions and face the consequences. 5. God's mercy and provision. Despite the dire consequences of their actions, God shows mercy by providing garments of skin for Adam and Eve. This act of grace signifies God's care and protection, even in times of disobedience, reminding us of his enduring love. As Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden, a new chapter began in human history. The consequences of their actions reverberated throughout generations to come. Join us in the next episode as we witness the unfolding of God's plan for redemption and discover the hope that lies beyond the gates of Eden. Stay tuned for the next episode of Biblical Stories, where we continue to explore the intriguing narratives that shape our faith and understanding.